Welcome back to today's video, guys. We are going to take a look at how to use Packet Tracer for beginners. Packet Tracer is a great simulation tool that does exactly what it says. It's a simulator for a networking environment. Located in the bottom left corner, you have these different tabs, and the first one is Network Devices, which drops you down into routers, switches, hubs, wireless devices, security, and WAN emulation. And you can see in the router tab I have at the moment, you have a lot of the 4000 series and other devices there. What's really useful is that Cisco provides you with router models that are current and up to date. I am aware that the 4000 series have been marked as end of life, but this is what you'll see in the real world. Moving on to switches, we'll just click on that. We have the 2960, which I use a lot in my scenarios, so if you ever want to replicate a switch, that's layer 2, just click that one. And we also have two different types of layer 3 switches. Cisco Packet Tracer also provides you with end devices, so if we click here we can see a PC, a laptop and a server, and a bunch of other devices such as printers and IP phones. We can go ahead and add a router, for example. We'll go for the 4331 and it will create it there for us, and we'll go for end devices and we can just have two PCs just like so. If I bring your attention to the main toolbar, we have our kind of selection. That's the delete button, that's the resize. This allows you to create notes, so we can just say IP address, and that can be whatever we want it to be, and it will just create a note like that, which I use a lot just so that you're not flicking in between the configuration. Saves you a lot of time if you create notes. Another handy design feature is you can just create shapes, so we can fill colors, so we'll just go for a blue, and then you can just drag and select, and this is quite good to design VLANs, so you can say this is VLAN 10, create another box, and then put that in another separate VLAN. If we click onto our router here, which is how you do configuration, we can see that we're presented with a 4331 image, so that's the back and this is the front. And what we can do is click on these left hand, which is all of our modules, and if we click one, so that's the cover, that is our switching. So at the bottom here gives you a description. So the NIM ES24 provides 4 switching ports which we can add, but the device does need to be powered off. So if we go to select it, cannot add a module when the power is on. So if we just click this button here to turn it off, drag and drop, we can see that it's allowed it this time. We don't get a warning or a pop-up, and we'll just click it back on. And if we go to the CLI, where you'll do a lot of your main configuration for devices, we can see the router is just booting up here. A great feature that Cisco have added into Packet Tracer, if you don't want to wait for the router or switch to boot up, if we just click in the left hand corner, this button here, we can fast forward the time. If we hover over devices, so if we hover over our router 1 here, we'll have a pop-up come up, and that just shows you all of the ports, what they are, all of their interface states, so we can see they're down, down or up, the VLAN that's associated, the IP address, and the MAC address tied to that interface. If we wanted to add connections between either the PCs or PC to router, we go to the bottom left corner, click on this lightning bolt, which is connections, and we are presented with a lot of different connections. So this lightning bolt here, it will automatically choose the connection type and the interface, but if you want to be more granular and choose what interface you want, you go for this copper straight through from the PC fast Ethernet 0 onto the router, and you can see you got 000, 001, and these are the 4 switch port cards that we added. So one card provides us with 4 switch port interfaces. So we'll just go for that one. If I go ahead and do the same for PC3, so we'll go for the copper straight through from PC3 fast Ethernet 0 onto the next switch port, so 0, 1, 1, you'll see the link light is yellow just because it's negotiating, but if we go and click the fast forward button, we can see straight away the link light becomes active. There are some cases where these link lights will be red, which identifies an issue with the interface itself, whereas before you saw that this was orange or yellow, and this side was green where it's negotiating, and if it's red, that means that there is a problem with the interface. Just to show you an example, we'll add another router and connect it via the 0, 0, so we'll go for 0, 0 to the 0, 0, and this is an example of what I was talking about earlier, whereas these interfaces are admin downed, so if we just go onto this router and we're in the CLI, we'll go for no, enable, configure terminal, and interface gigabit 0, 0, 0, we'll just drag it over across, so that is this interface here, and if we just do a no shut, we can see that that is up. We'll go onto this router and do exactly the same, so we'll go for no, enter, configure terminal, interface gigabit 0, 0, 0, and we'll do a no shut. And as you can see on the left hand side, they are both now green, so that's one thing to check out for. And finally, if you want to configure these PCs with IP addresses, you'll see on my other videos how to do that, and I'll just quickly run through it here. So we'll go on to PC2, it will bring up this tab, and you'll do most of the configuration on the desktop sub tab here, and we're presented with loads of things. Command prompt, so you can do exactly like your home PC, you can do the run, and it will bring up a command prompt where you can do the pings to different devices, different PCs, different switches. If we come out of there, we have our IP configuration tab, which allows you to put an IPv4 address, subnet mask, default gateway, everything to do with your network configuration. Thanks for watching today's video, guys. If there's any content you'd like to see in the future, please leave a comment down below.